Hey, what's up guys? And welcome to the very first episode of what I'm going to be calling 5-Minute Fridays, where basically every Friday we're going to take one question and we're going to answer it in 5 minutes or less. The idea is as a complement to my really in-depth videos. It can easily be 20, 30, 40 minutes long. We're going to take one topic and answer it in 5 minutes or less. That way you guys get really to the heart of the issue and get your questions answered without having to necessarily watch a super long video. So with that said, let's dive right into it. The first thing that I want to answer for this first episode of 5-Minute Fridays is going to be a really common question that people have. It's one of the most common complaints that people have about radar detectors, and it's typically something along the lines of, hey, I've got a new radar detector, I've got it up on my car, but I passed a police officer and my radar detector didn't alert. What happened? Is something wrong? Typically, no. This is actually totally normal, and in 99% of situations, there's nothing wrong. Now, people typically think there's one of two issues. Either the detector is a dud, it's defective, or the second thing is maybe the settings are wrong. There's something wrong with the settings, and they programmed it incorrectly. So let's actually talk about why your radar detector may not go off. Now, the key thing to remember here is this is a radar detector. It's not a police car detector. It's not a police officer detector. It's a radar detector. It's designed to detect a radar gun being used by police officers. Now, a lot of cops don't actually even have radar guns installed in their car in the first place. A lot of times they may not even do speed enforcement. They may be the types of cops who respond to, crime scenes and break-ins and murders and all that kind of stuff. Speed enforcement is just one thing a police officer can do, and a lot of cops don't even do that. Now, let's say the cop actually does have a radar gun installed in his car. In order for your detector to alert to the radar gun has to be actively transmitting. If the gun is turned off, or if it's turned on but it's in hold, so it's not transmitting, there's nothing for your radar detector to detect, and so it's going to be dead silent, and you could pass right by the police officer and your radar detector doesn't alert. If the cop is busy doing paperwork, or he's driving somewhere and he's not running his radar gun, your detector is not going to go off. Now, some police officers actually do this intentionally, knowing that, hey, if they want to capture radar detector users and not give them advanced warning, they can just have their radar guns in hold, not transmitting, and when they see somebody that they want to clock, only then, when they get close, they turn on their radar gun. And only at that point will your radar detector go off, but typically it's going to be too late. And that's actually known as instant on. It's different than constant on, where the radar gun is, well, constantly on. This we call instant on, or I/O for short. Now, the trick to combating I/O is basically having a really sensitive detector and having what's called a rabbit ahead. The idea is it's another vehicle up ahead of you that's going to be drawing fire. And then you, with your sensitive detector, are going to notice when that guy way up the street is getting clocked, and then you get the advanced warning and slow down. So having a rabbit plus a sensitive detector is really key. Another thing that police officers can do is, instead of using radar, they can run a laser gun. And the idea is they can just pick off one car at a time and, just figure out what the speed of that vehicle is. If an officer is running laser and he's shooting somebody nearby, your radar detector may not even go off at all. A laser, it's just a thin beam of light. And so, hey, you can drive right up to a cop and notice, oh man, he's got a laser gun in his hand. Your radar detector never went off, but you notice he's actually pulling over somebody really close to you. That typically is going to be laser. Now, even if he's targeting you, because the laser beam is so thin and tiny, he's going to be targeting your front plate, headlights, or grill area. A radar detector up in your windshield typically is not even going to be able to see it. Now, even if it does see it, by the time it goes off, it's a little more than a speeding ticket notifier, and that's actually the reason why you want laser jammers to complement your radar detector. Your radar detector handles radar, the laser jammers handle laser. So now, understanding that, how do we actually verify that our radar detector is operating properly, that it's set up correctly? Well, in order to ensure that, it can detect radar in the first place, the easiest thing to do is to find a radar source. For example, go up to a couple different automatic door openers in front of shopping centers, drugstores, or grocery stores, and just verify that your detector alerts. Typically, those operate on X-band or K-band. Now, as far as the settings, you're going to want the detector set up with the following settings. X-band disabled, unless you live in Ohio or New Jersey. K-band turned on, unless you're in California, otherwise you can turn that off too. And then Ka band definitely enabled. If you get into any sort of advanced options, such as Ka band segmentation, make sure you have the correct segment set. There's a link in the video description which will cover which segments you need to run where. Definitely take a look at that. And then as far as programming your detector, I'm going to have another link in the video description taking you to my list of setup tutorials that I have for a variety of different detectors, so that you can go over the different settings and make sure you have it set up properly. So yeah, as long as you've got your detector set up appropriately and it's working normally, which is going to be on almost all situations. When you pass a police officer, if he's running a radar detector or if he's running a radar gun, your radar detector will go off. If he's not, it won't. Kind of that simple at the end of the day. So yes, totally common that your radar detector doesn't go off, and now you know why. So awesome. If you guys have any other questions that you want me to answer in another video like this, let me know. Just leave a comment down below. Awesome. Thanks so much, and I'll see you guys in the next video.